Hello and welcome to this new year of TSSI training. So I'm so happy to be with you today and to present some PR of the students that you have written for the first submissions of the year. So this is wonderful to read all your submissions and to discover and to share with you everything that you analyze, that you live, that you analyze in terms of pluses, minuses, the links also that you do between the dreams that you receive and also the reality, the concrete reality. So we have wonderful examples today regarding messages that Yeyazel has brought to you. So Yeyazel is really an angel of mastering our emotions, revitalization, new energy. So it really helps us when we receive dreams with Yeyazel. They help us to adjust our emotions. And we have very, very profound examples that you have received in dreams. So let's start right now with the first one that is called the messy room. So you see just a picture like that. This is so interesting when we think about the state of consciousness that creates such a picture. Because when we imagine that we live in such an environment, in such a room, for example, all the data that it creates in our consciousness. So we are like loaded of information, like stuff on the bed, this kind of decoration, drawer open with many clothes that are, everywhere, and also stuff to clean and a certain disorder, etc. So there are so many information to deal with, actually. So this is why it's very important that we create like an environment in the concrete reality that also correspond to what we want to live within ourselves, because our concrete reality will reflect what we have inside of us, and also the exterior reality will reflect what we have inside of us. So you see, this is in both directions, actually. It is very interesting to understand that we create our environment with what we have inside of us, and vice versa. So when we have like an environment that is really in a certain disorder, like we see in this picture, eventually it will just amplify also a certain difficulty to be at ease and to be serene in our thoughts, in our emotions, and eventually, we can have a certain dispersion. We can also have difficulty to organize ourselves, to plan things, etc. And this will even create like a form of postponing in our agendas, etc. So this can create so many confusion in our energy, in our emotions. So this is why, even if you have like decoration, always the plus, of course, of the decoration, and always the minus. But I invite you just to be really aware of the things that you keep at home, so that they don't overload, your consciousness. So let's analyze this dream. So it starts with, I stay in a small room of the house. Inside there was a bed. I held a little girl on the bed. I cuddled her, and she showed me a wound on her left leg. Next to the head of the bed, there is a sink with a faucet and all sorts of messy things. I turned on the faucet and cleaned everything with the determination to wash and arrange the glasses, bottles, and jars neatly. But the more I did it, the more messed up everything became. I was helpless because I couldn't do what I wanted. So this is very, very interesting. Even if it is a short dream, there is a lot of information that we can keep in mind, and that is really important for for our evolution. So it's very important also when you analyze dreams that you focus on the very first symbols. They are like the titles of the dream, the main subject. And then this is like a development of this subject. So I stay in a small room of the house. Inside there was a bed. So small room of the house plus bed are the key symbols. And here we talk about the intimacy, the personal intimacy of the student, what she bears within herself in her personal world, because this is her home. So it means this is the interior. And a small room, this also refers to a feeling of limitation somehow, a feeling of inferiority also, because it could have been a big room, a large house, whatever, or it could have been also the living room or the bathroom. So you see, but this is very precise, a dream. So this is the house, small room, so limitation, inferiority, restriction somehow, the bed, personal intimacy, personal world. And I held a little girl on the bed. So the little girl represents an inner part of the student related to her intimacy, what she becomes, actually her future somehow. So I cuddled her and she showed me a wound on her left leg. So here we see that actually the student wants to take good care of herself, of what she becomes, of who she becomes also. But we see that there is a difficulty in the interior advancement because of the left leg. Because of the wound also. The wound represents a difficulty, like a loss of energy. And next to the head of the bed, there is a sink with a faucet and all sorts of messy things. So we understand now the reasons behind the wound. So there is the sink and the faucet and all the messy things. So we see that there is an emotional difficulty that prevents the student from advancing properly, easily. So the messy things, of course, they refer to, all kind of thoughts, memories, ideas, projects, actions also that are present in our life and that have accumulated. And now this accumulation of things to purify create this aspect where there is a wound, there is a difficulty to advance, there is like a difficulty to feel well in herself because of this accumulation of things to purify. Because this is a symbol also of the sink, of the faucet. We can wash our hands, we can wash our face, etc. So this touches the purification that is now necessary. So you see, this is also important to keep in mind that this is normal to receive such dreams when we are on a spiritual journey, on a self-development path, because we enter in connection with our memories, with our emotions. We question ourselves, and we feel disturbed by many things, and all kind of memories, souvenirs can emerge, and we can be bothered, of tired, etc. And this is because it's time to cleanse ourselves. It's time to start, the cleaning, the inner cleaning. And this is why this is very, very common to receive these kind of dreams, particularly also at the beginning of the evolutive journey. So she continues, I turned on the faucet, I cleaned everything with the determination to wash and arrange the glasses, bottles, and jars neatly. So we see this is like a beautiful intention, a beautiful motivation to purify, to improve things, to make order, etc. Also regarding what she will absorb in terms of energy, because the glasses, this is the emotion, the receptivity to the emotions that we absorb, the bottles, also the jars. So we see the connection also with Yazel here. So she wants to really purify the how she's receptive to what emotions also she is receptive. So, but the more I did it, the more messed up everything became. I was helpless because I couldn't do what I wanted. So, of course, this dream shows at that moment a certain discouragement in the student energy. And this can be normal also, because once we have like an opening of consciousness, as I explained before, we become aware of many things. There can be much more resonances, much more disturbances, like also a certain fatigue and certain frustrations and emotions that are more intense, difficult to manage, etc. And we feel also more sensitive and more emotional, and at that moment we discover also that we have a lot of things to adjust in our life. We have a lot of order to do, and we become aware of that. And the more we develop the knowledge, the understanding that things need to be improved and adjusted and purified, and the more we do that, the more we see that, okay, but I still have to continue with that. So you see, this is like an endless cycle. Okay, I need to cleanse that, but I've seen that now I have this and that to cleanse also, but I should take care of that. So where can I start actually? I have so many things to cleanse. This is what this dream explains. So sometimes the more we purify ourselves, so the more we see things to purify. And the most important is not the result actually, it's the journey. It's the journey, because it's too much just to want to achieve the result where we have cleansed everything. It's like impossible in just 1 week or 1 year. It's a long process. And we need to be ready just to accept, okay, I will need one glass after another, one plate after another, one memory. I will purify one memory after another, one resonance after another. And then eventually we process many negative aspects that disturb us. And the more we do that, the more we become at ease to transform easily and rapidly also. But this is a process. And at first it's normal to see, okay, I have many things to change in my life. I have many resonances that touch me, and I don't feel well with this person, with this situation, with this memory, with that and that and that. Okay, don't worry. This is like a normal process when we have a great opening of consciousness. So we just need to de-dramatize things without trivializing, of course, but we just need to de-dramatize, take things one after another, and eventually we can advance on the evolutive path with compassion, with patience, with perseverance, and eventually, even if there is a big amount of dishes to wash, etc., or to things to purify, eventually, okay, we accept that and we do the steps one day after another progressively. So the student explains then the decryption that she did. So the room house is symbolic of the internal structure. Yes, exactly. baby girl, inner child, indeed. So the bed represents intimacy, a palace to rest. So this is also very interesting because you see there is like a typo here, a palace to rest, and you will see this can happen sometimes also in the portal. So we write a sentence and then we realize, okay, this wasn't exactly the sentence I was supposed to write or I wanted to write, but our unconscious talks at our place at that moment. So like a palace to rest you. So you see, if during a certain time you are in an energy of palace, you want to be served, you want to rest, you want to enjoy an easy life, without effort, with what the palace represents in terms of negative dynamics, so you are like a prince or princess, and you just sit and watch things and enjoy being served and having nothing special to do and having comfort, luxury, etc. So eventually, if you accumulate this kind of memories, of course you are not used to make effort and to cleanse and to clean the room and to organize everything in your life, because you are used to be served. And eventually a big amount of such memories can create the messy dream, because you have been used to the palace life. So of course there is the plus also of the palace, always the plus, always the minus. But just to explain why is there the palace suddenly here, why this is not exactly what she meant, but the subconscious, the unconscious memories was we're talking at that moment. So the sink next to the bed with bottles and cups is in the wrong place. So the sink is in the bedroom also, of course. So sometimes this could refer to a certain extremism also in our wish to purify ourselves. So we just want to sleep and purify, and sometimes it can be too much also. So the emotion in the dream is the determination to rearrange everything. So this is a good this is a good intention, just to want to clean and to purify this aspect. So the desire to have order, neatness, but helplessness because it cannot be done yet. But of course, the more we work on ourselves, the more we see that, okay, little by little, step by step, we can improve our life, we can change our inner codes and reprogram ourselves. So this is a negative dream. The inner world needs to be reset, especially the female pole needs to be balanced, receptive ability, heal the inner child. And remember also to, if you want to work on your feminine polarity, you need to work on your masculine polarity as well. You cannot just say, I will reinforce my feminine polarity. Yes, but you need also to soften or to adjust your masculine polarity, because they are both always connected. So this is very important to understand that. So thank you also to the student for this very interesting dream. And let's continue now with another one that is called Predators on the Seashore. So I go to the seashore, beach, collective emotional unconscious emotions and feelings, relaxation, rest, to release 2 baby tortoises, peaceful and wisdom thoughts. But when I came to the water, some animals appeared suddenly. So there are 2 giant brown crabs and a big grey crocodile hide under the sand and water near where I am standing. They moved slowly and stared at me without doing anything. I saw them and felt scared, so I turned back and waited for another day when I can release the tortoises without any predators. So this is like a completely different dream than the previous one, but this is also in connection with Yeyazel. We see immediately like the seashore, the beach, the animals also that are connected to the emotional world. So we see certain emotional aspect that concern the student here in this dream. So she explains, so I go to the seashore, beach, collective, emotional, and conscious. So emotions and feelings, relaxation, rest. So this is very well analyzed. In red also, that means that these symbols are analyzed negatively here, and this is right to do that. Because of what? Because of the context of the dream. We see that even if they are two like cute tortoises, baby tortoises, but then we feel that okay, the release cannot take place, and then there is a crab, a crocodile, and then she needs to go back, etc. So we feel that this is not a completely harmonious dream. So this is why this is more the negative tendency. And even if there is always the plus to all the symbols like the crocodile, the beach, etc. And also it's very important that even if important to remember that even if we receive negative dreams, they represent percentages of ourselves. And the same also with the student before, even if there was like a messy context, that doesn't mean that the student was disorganized all the day, etc. No, it's just a percentage of her memories, and the same like the student here. It doesn't mean that she can be like the tortoise or a crocodile, all the day, etc. No. So it's very important to understand that dreams represent percentages of ourselves that we need to become aware of course, without, as I said before, without trivializing them, but without traumatizing either. So So I wanted to go to the seashore beach to release two baby tortoises, and then she says, peaceful and wisdom thoughts in blue. So we cannot say that because the tortoises are not really in a positive context here. So this is why we need to rather take the minus of the tortoises. So this is why it should have been analyzed and written in red. So and this is not related to the thoughts. The thoughts would be more related to like an eagle or a seagull or a plane, helicopter, things that fly actually, and because this is the air element and the thoughts. But the tortoise in the water is more related to the emotion, so an instinctive and emotional energy actually. And here, the negative of the tortoise is more related to an aspect that can become somehow a little bit too fragile, that want to advance too smoothly, too slowly, so that things go really, really calmly, and this is the negative of the tortoise, and also an aspect that want to be overprotected sometimes. And there are two tortoises which refer to the angel 2, Jeliel, the relationship with others also. So in a social context, the student sometimes she could want to overprotect herself, so she want to create a new beginning. This is true because this is the baby, but at the same time, the baby also refers to a certain immaturity, a difficulty to take good care of ourselves because we are like dependent on others, and so this is why also in the social context she could like protect herself, want things to go really, really smoothly, like also with a certain stagnant energy, don't go too fast, don't push me, like kind of too careful also energy like that. So and then And then there are two giant brown crabs and a big gray crocodile. So the crabs, she says, they're fencing and cover vulnerable sides, ignorance to change. And the crabs, if we look at the picture of the crab, we see, like the big claws, which refers to an imposing, dominating aspect also, like very, I am the boss, I am the master here. Of course, in the negative, because this is like a negative dream, there is also the plus of the crabs. And also, the crab doesn't advance like straight on, it's more advancing like that. And this is like, okay. This is like a certain sneaky energy somehow, not really honest and not really reliable somehow. So of course he is a predator also, and a big gray crocodile. So the crocodile refers to aggressiveness, of course, threatened force, and powerful emotional energy. This is very well analyzed, and also it's a cold-blooded animal. So there is no feeling. It can be very like it eats you and that's it. No pity, no regret, no resentment, whatever. So it's like very cold. I'm hungry and I eat. That's it. Then I go back under the water and no emotion, actually, very cold emotion. So and it also touches the concrete level, because the crocodile can be both in water and on earth, actually, on the land, and the same with the crabs. So so they hide under the sand and water near where I am standing. So you see, on one hand, there is like the potential of the tortoise that can be developed somehow, but on the other hand, there is also the predator side, and these are like extremes, actually. So sometimes she really wants like to be smooth, and it can be too much, and sometimes the student could be like the predator and very intense with herself or with others, just because she wants things to to advance, and she can be like powerful, etc. And we see like two extremes here. So they moved slowly and stared at me without doing anything. So I saw them and felt scared, so I turned back and waited for another day when I can release the tortoises without any predators. So we see actually that she's like progressively getting to know these inner forces within herself, because there is the tortoise side. So okay, she wants to be very calm, etc., smooth, and to protect herself, but at the same time, protect from what? Protect from the predator side. So you see, because here she needs to come back another day. So that means that sometimes there is a difficulty to face the predator side, either in herself, but also the predator can be like a colleague or a neighbor or a manager, someone in her life, a member of the family, so that can play the role of the predator. And then she can be impressed eventually. She can be like the tortoise and, in a shell, protected. And, okay, I want to go, but there is a predator. Okay, no, so I don't go. And, and this can create a certain feeling of shyness somehow, difficulty to express, to communicate, or eventually she could become like the crocodile or the crab and say, okay, I impose my opinions when it's my turn to talk. And And this is why also we see the gray crocodile, the duality sometimes, and passing from one extreme to another. So, but it's very interesting to understand that with this kind of dream, it's telling about emotional difficulties to face certain resonances. So this is why the baby tortoises cannot really develop their potential. And at the same time, there is like an observation. Okay, I'm afraid, I don't go. So if this animal does that, what do I do? What do I need to understand? What is my reaction? What is my emotion also? Okay, I'm scared, but what do I need to transform in myself so that I'm not scared of the crocodile or the crab? So, and then you transpose that in your concrete reality. Okay, sometimes I can be afraid of certain people, or, I can feel observed because I have the feeling that this person is looking at me like the crocodile and the crab, etc. And, or I'm looking at certain people and, and I don't want them to disturb my quietness, my calmness in my environment, etc. So then the analysis of the student, she says, after a year, I really need to relax and rest in the holiday to take care of my feelings and emotions. I also want to spend time learning and developing myself, 2 online courses for the whole year. This connection can be seen well through the idea of releasing 2 babies tortoises to the ocean. Yes, but you see, sometimes the limit is thin between like a good intention, quality, and also like a little bit too much of that. And here we see a little bit too much of tortoise energies. I mean, I want to take good care of myself, no disturbance, I want calmness, etc. But when we do that, somehow we can, close ourselves too much from the exterior world, and eventually we are no longer able to face the concrete reality or our responsibilities or any surprise or any aspect that we haven't planned and that come and disturb us eventually. So this is why we see a little bit of the minus of the tortoise also. So, however, my personal plan is postponed due to self-doubt and resistance to change. Crabs and crocodile are both predators, but in this dream they only watch and stand still. I'm scared because I don't know what they are going to do, only stand there or eat the tortoises alive right after I release them. So because it's important to understand, okay, the crabs and crocodile are part of my dream. So this is me also, We need to understand, okay, all the symbols are part of myself. So in other words, I'm afraid of something out of my control which seems harmful and unpredictable. For the needs of rest and relaxing, I felt annoyed when surprised guests come and interrupt my holiday mood. You see the aspect that want to be a little bit too overprotected in the shell, no disturbance, nobody contacts me because I want to take good care of myself. So you see, this is like the extreme I was mentioning before. And of course, the crabs and crocodile, this is like powerful needs, powerful instinctive emotions that can somehow prevent the new path and also the serene energy to develop. So, and for the courses, I'm often worried that I won't be patient and persistent enough to do all sections, homework on time, and finish both courses with good results. Past experience made me believe that I am impatient and often tend to give up halfway through. Thus, it is really difficult to change my mind. It makes me not want to try new things and even give up before starting anything. So you see, behind this kind of energy, there can be the intensity of the crab, of the crocodile, that sometimes become too intense, want the result, and create doubt, etc. So this is like a very interesting analysis and good connection that she made between her inner emotions that can sometimes influence her choices, her decisions, her new wishes and objectives, etc. So I need to make up my mind to not believe what the mind says about myself. Actually, you need just to create unity within yourself, so that every animals, every energy, every symbols that we can see in dreams live in harmony, peacefully. Because here in the dream we saw a certain aspect like a doubt. I observe and I'm not sure. I come back, but I'm here, I'm watching you, etc. So this is all inner dialogues. So we need to reconcile all these inner parts that we bear within ourselves, that create sometimes multiple directions, but we need to choose one direction and to reconcile all the other parts of ourselves that sometimes can take us in different direction. So thank you also to the student for this very, very interesting dream, and well connected also to Yeyazel. And let's continue with a last dream for today's presentation. And you will see it's again a completely another scenario, but well connected to Yeyazel as well. So the dream is called Spraying Herbicides on Rice Fields. So me, my mother, and my brother plant rice in the field, start to feed emotion inside and outside. And after it was done, someone said that we need to spray herbicides, have invasive energy, but I want to kill this energy, not want to transfer. Mike, cousin, has a sprayer that can fly in the air. It's from my thinking. And then spray it down the field. So each potion must be added blood to kill the weed. Take much energy to kill this type of emotion. Grandma went to the field by jumping from one side of the river to the other. The distance between the two banks was about 2 meters. So there were a few children in the field. However, when the spray came down from above, it flew into the children, impact to the new project. And I had to tell the children to move away from the spraying site. I don't want to impact new projects. I have a solution to avoid consequence. When I returned to the bridge, I steamed the buffalo meat in the kitchen for a nearby old woman who sold something to eat. So let's have a look at this dream together. So it starts with me, my mother, and my brother. So you see, it concerns like the family. So in terms of state of consciousness, the family represents how we exchange with others, how we support others, a certain help also that we can provide to others. So this will touch these kind of qualities and also distortions eventually, depending on the pluses and the minuses of the dream. So the mother represents the inner world, the inner origin, and the emotional aspect also of the dreamer. And the brother represents also the capacity to bring help and support to others. So me, my brother, and my mother and my brother plant rice in the field. Here also, again, the main subject is the exchanges with others and planting rice in the field. So of course we see the emotional nourishment, because for ice to grow, we need a lot of water, and so this is like also a very healthy nourishment, because this is like very smooth to digest. White energy also of the rice refers to a certain spiritual energy, a certain purity as well, and we see, so in the field, so there is a wish to create abundance, because when we want to plant rice, or it could have been like another cereal, for example. So there is a wish to create abundance, a wish to have like a certain nourishment on different levels, or on the emotional level, as well also as on the concrete level. So she says, start to feed emotion inside and outside. Exactly. And after it was done, someone said that we need to spray herbicides. So you see, here she mentioned have invasive energy. But actually we haven't seen the weed yet. So the symbolic equation is we plant rice and we put herbicide. So, of course, in the context of a concrete nourishment, and there could be like a certain feeling of insecurity, because we want to create like a nourishment, an abundant resource for later. But at the same time, immediately we want to add herbicides. So we want to be sure that the abundant resource that we want to create is not destroyed. But this is like too intense, that we don't see the information that okay, there is like many weeds, or there is a problem and we need to find a solution, etc. So this is why we need to analyze this rather in terms of negative energy. So also another aspect that is interesting to mention, that it should have been good to add the colors, in the portal that you have. You have like formatting styles, so you can put the symbols in the style symbol. There is the plus in blue, the minus in red, the analysis in italics, etc. So we really invite you to use these colors, because it helps a lot also to create a great structure that helps us to go more easily to the interpretation. So here it should have been put in red, and so yes, we see invasive energy, but I want to kill this energy, not want to transfer. So this is right. There is a too intense willpower to kill negativity. So you see, like there is like a certain extreme energy to have purity, to have abundance, to have great resources on the emotional and concrete level. But at the same time, it's too much, because as soon as we want to create this pure energy, we want to kill every other negative energy. So Mike, cousin, also here, when you have like a character in your dream, it's very helpful to add the definition of what this character represents for you. This could also add additional information in the dream interpretation. So Mike has a sprayer that can fly in the air. So you see, this concerns the world of thought. So the sprayer in the air, and then eventually this will go down in the field. So the student can have many thoughts about, okay, I need to be attentive to that, I don't want that, and okay, this is important not to become like that, and to get that, etc. So you see, this is like the herbicide in the air. And then she continues. So each potion must be added blood to kill the weed. So you see the insecurity that I was mentioning previously, because it's like you need to use blood to create like an abundant resource. So it's like memories of insecurities, of poverty that create that also to a certain extent. So, and then she analyzes, take much energy to kill this type of emotion. Exactly. At that moment, we can become too concrete, too much insecure, too much down to earth also, and too red. The negativity of the red, because the blood is red, it's like insecurity, really like very concrete worries and fears also related to the material world. So grandma went to the field by jumping from one side of the river to the other. The distance between the two banks was about 2 meters. So you see the fact that the grandmother arrives at that moment, it's because this is memories that have been accumulated for a certain time, for a long time, because this is no longer the mother and brother, now there is the grandmother. So you see, it's been a long time that the student has accumulated this aspect of being sure that she has enough resources, on all levels. And now also that she wants to create a new purity, new healthy energy in the way she nourishes herself. But at the same time, when we think about what the grandmother does here, so she jumps above the rivers, so like a 2 meter jump. So it's like intent for a grandmother, right? So it shows that all the efforts also that are required just to be sure that we will have the resources. And also the separation sometimes that can be done on the emotional level, because the river separates like the rise from the rest. So you see, now there is a wish to create a new energy, healthy, pure, etc. But at the same time, there is a distance separation, and this is because of the extremism that I was mentioning before. So there were a few children in the field. However, when the spray came down from above, it flew into the children. So you see, when we are too intense, too extreme in our wish to create purity, abundance, etc., eventually, sooner or later, this creates like collateral damages. We need to be wise in our intention, balanced, so to be sure that we are not too extreme. We should not, go too much into one direction and then considering it as the only option, and then even because otherwise it creates like, separation, extremism, collateral damages, like here, this notion of herbicide is actually like wanting to eliminate all kind of negativity. This also eliminate the positive that can emerge of the student. The future potential can be hindered also by this too intense energy representing by the herbicide. So, and I had to tell the children to move away from the spraying site. I don't want to impact new projects. I have a solution to avoid consequence. Yes, new projects and also new parts of yourself, who you become. The children is also us in terms of state of consciousness, what we become, who we become. It's really us also. So when I return to the bridge, so you see here suddenly there is a bridge. This is interesting. It wasn't there before. Before there was a jump, a 2 meters jump. And now there is a bridge. So you see, it is very interesting because this is like the weed. There was even no weed in the dream. the dreamer explained, okay, I have invasive energy. But nowhere in the dream she said, okay, there was rice and there was a lot of weed and we needed to. So you see, this is very interesting to understand this aspect when we analyze dreams also. So the bridge was not there before. So now there is a bridge because there were the children that were impacted because of the herbicide. So now there is a need to create a connection. But then she goes back to ancient memories. So I steamed the buffalo meat in the kitchen for a nearby old woman who sold something to eat. So then there is the connection with old memories. So a dream is also like a circle, like a cycle. The end of the dream is always related to the beginning of the dream. So you see, it started with rice. So in the field, like we imagine a healthy white rice growing in a green field, and at the same time, at the end, there is like a buffalo meat that is steamed in a kitchen. So you see, we are far away from the beautiful context, apparently beautiful context of the rice in the field. So this also represents two extremes somehow. You see, on one side, the student wants to create a new energy, wants to nourish herself with new purity, healthy nourishment, and on the other extreme there was like the buffalo. So forcing to advance, being too intense and too instinctual also in her needs. And this is why now she wants the opposite, and she wants the healthy nourishment, but with herbicide, so that you see the extremism. Sometimes we realize, okay, I need to change. Let's do the change. But then we become eventually extreme and we become vegetarian. We want everything organic. We want a new apartment, an electric car to replace the ancient car, etc. And of course, this is great to change and to want to improve things and to improve ourselves. But we need to be balanced in our choices and decisions. So you see also the old woman who sold something to eat. So this is also her in the past that needed to sell something. So you see also the dynamic of insecurity, to wanting to be sure that she will lack nothing actually. So this is why there is the rice and immediately the herbicide, just to be sure that the rice is protected and is sure to be made sure to be harvested later. So and then she analyzes. I've seen this invasive emotion take over a lot because I'm aware that I need to transform this emotion. My daughter, 3 years old, wanted me to fix a book after reading to her. The book was torn. At that time, it was time to take a nap, and my daughter didn't want to sleep, also didn't let me sleep, but forced me to fix the book. I was very angry with her, explained many times why I couldn't fix the book for her. Then I started to have invasive energy inside, wanting her to listen to me, and I started talking a lot, not letting her talk. You see, this is very interesting. So the invasive energy was like something that prevented her from having like the peaceful, calm energy represented by the rice. And actually, we can say that also she had a resonance with her daughter, that was quite, really insisting somehow with the book, and this is normal for children, sometimes to insist, and we have to say no several times, and it should not disturb us. Actually, this is part of the children. We just need to educate them without being angry or impatient or disturbed by this kind of behavior. And so you see, somehow, in terms of state of consciousness, when someone insists, so it's like a buffalo, that advances and you just want the result and reach the objective, and it's ready to really advance intensely like that. And so in the daughter was doing a little bit like that somehow, and we see the connection also with the dream. So when there is like a buffalo energy, so it's time to transform it. But in the dream, it was still steamed. You see, so there is still sometimes a tendency to nourish this kind of energy. So when by resonance it happens in the concrete reality, the law of resonance applies, of course. And then the student may feel a little bit disturbed because there is the buffalo energy, but I want the rice energy. And you see, this creates like interferences in our emotional world. So after I realized I was carrying the invading energy, exactly, I had to invoke the angel repeatedly so I could calm down. This is a lesson that I have to observe more closely to be able to better recognize my invading emotions. So this is also very good connections with the dream and the concrete reality. So this completes today's presentation about all the messages that Yeyazel has brought to you for this first PR of the DSSI year. So I would like to thank you again, all of you, for your beautiful submissions, PR, sharings, dreams, etc. So it's always fascinating to and so profound also to read everything that you can write on the portal. So I wish you a beautiful DSSI year and a beautiful mastery of emotions with Yeyazel.